When optimization becomes a threat, optimization was supposed to make things better. Faster systems, leaner processes, fewer mistakes. For a long time, it delivered exactly that. And then, quietly, the benefits began turning into vulnerabilities. Today, many of the systems we rely on are optimized to a point where resilience has become optional. To understand why this matters now, we have to look at how relentless efficiency reshaped priorities, and why optimizing for performance alone can push systems past a dangerous threshold. For decades, optimization was treated as progress. Businesses streamline operations. Platforms maximize engagement. Markets chase efficiency. Anything slow, redundant, or wasteful was eliminated. The logic was simple. If something didn't contribute directly to performance, it didn't belong. The appeal of this reasoning was enormous, because it offered a clear, measurable standard for every decision. The reveal begins when optimization removes slack. Backup systems disappear. Margins shrink. Redundancy looks inefficient. Every component is pushed to perform continuously, with no room to absorb shock. The system works beautifully until it doesn't. At first, the gains feel undeniable. Lower costs, higher output, seamless experiences. Success metrics rise, reinforcing the belief that optimization is always good. But beneath that success, fragility accumulates. Small disruptions cause outsized reactions. Minor errors cascade instead of containing themselves. As systems interconnected, this fragility multiplied. One optimized process depended on another, which depended on another still. Failures no longer stayed local. They propagated. Efficiency amplified speed, but also amplified risk. What made this shift hard to detect was that nothing appeared broken. The system didn't slow down. It sped up. Warning signs were filtered out as noise. Only performance mattered, until performance itself became the problem. The metrics that had guided every decision offered no warning, because fragility was not something they were designed to detect. Optimization had not failed. It had succeeded too well. As optimization tightened its grip, the first cracks appeared where no one was looking. Systems began operating closer to their limits, extracting maximum output with minimal tolerance for disruption. What once felt robust now depended on everything working perfectly, all the time. The conflict emerged when efficiency collided with reality. Rare events, once absorbed by buffers and redundancy, now triggered chain reactions. Supply lines snapped. Markets swung violently. Digital platforms stalled under unexpected load. The optimized system didn't bend. It broke. Organizations struggled to respond because optimization had quietly removed their options. Redundant teams were gone. Manual overrides were deprecated. Local decision-making had been centralized into automated processes designed for ideal conditions. When conditions changed, there was no slack left to improvise. People inside these systems felt the pressure personally. Workloads intensified. Mistakes carried heavier consequences. Burnout increased as performance targets tightened. The margin for error shrank, but expectations did not. Optimization demanded constant output, regardless of human limits. In digital systems, the effect was amplified. Algorithms optimized for speed reacted instantly to stress, often worsening it. Automated trading systems accelerated downturns. Recommendation engines pushed extreme content because it performed better. The system did exactly what it was designed to do, and the result was instability. Defenders argued that optimization wasn't the problem. Poor implementation was. Better models, more data, faster feedback. But each fix pushed systems further toward the same edge. The logic never questioned whether performance should be the only goal. It simply refined how to reach it. The deeper issue lay beneath the metrics. Optimization removed inefficiency, but inefficiency had served a purpose. It provided space for error, adaptation, and recovery. In stripping it away, systems gained speed but lost forgiveness. The build-up pointed toward a difficult realization. A system optimized only for success is also optimized for catastrophic failure. And the more efficient it becomes, the harder it is to stop once things begin to go wrong. As optimization pushed systems closer to their limits, the cost of failure grew exponentially. What once would have been a manageable disruption now became a full-scale crisis. The margin between stability and collapse narrowed until it was nearly invisible. The conflict intensified when optimized systems began failing in ways no one had planned for. Because everything was tuned for peak performance, there was no room to slow down safely. When pressure spiked, automated responses amplified it. Instead of dampening shock, systems fed it forward, accelerating the damage. In financial markets, this appeared as sudden cascades. Liquidity vanished instantly. Prices overshot reality. Algorithms reacted to each other faster than humans could intervene. What looked like chaos was actually perfect execution. Systems responding exactly as optimized, without hesitation or judgment. In organizations, the pattern repeated. Lean teams lacked capacity to absorb stress. Just-in-time processes collapsed under delay. Optimized workflows left no space for recovery. People were expected to perform flawlessly inside structures that no longer tolerated error. When something broke, it broke everywhere at once. Emotionally, trust eroded. Systems that once felt reliable now felt brittle. Confidence was replaced by vigilance. The very efficiency that promised control now produced anxiety, because everyone knew there was no cushion left. Success felt fragile, dependent on uninterrupted perfection. Attempts to fix the problem often doubled down on the same logic. More optimization, faster response, tighter control. Each iteration removed a little more slack, pushing systems even closer to the edge. The solution became the accelerant. The build-up reached a critical insight. Resilience is not the opposite of efficiency. It is what efficiency quietly consumes when left unchecked. Without friction, redundancy, and room to fail safely, systems become impressive and dangerous. When optimization becomes the highest value, fragility stops being a flaw. It becomes an inevitability. The turning point came when people finally acknowledged what optimization had taken away. The problem wasn't speed or performance themselves. It was the absence of resilience, the quiet removal of everything that didn't look productive until it was desperately needed. The climax revealed a simple truth. Systems don't fail because they are too complex. They fail because they are too optimized for one version of reality. When that reality shifts, there is no room to adapt. The same efficiency that once created success becomes the reason recovery is impossible. Out of this realization, priorities began to shift. Redundancy was no longer seen as waste. Friction was no longer viewed as failure. Slack became a feature rather than a flaw. Designers began building systems that could survive mistakes, not just perform under ideal conditions. The resolution reframed progress itself. True advancement was no longer defined by maximum output, but by sustained function under stress. Systems were judged not by how fast they moved, but by how well they absorbed shock. Resilience replaced optimization as a long-term metric of success. This did not mean abandoning efficiency. It meant balancing it. Optimization remained valuable, but only within structures designed to bend rather than break. Performance mattered, but survival mattered more. The recognition that a system's value should be measured not only by what it produces under ideal conditions, but by what it preserves when conditions deteriorate, marked a fundamental change in how success was defined. When optimization becomes a threat, the solution is not to slow down blindly. It is to remember why inefficiency existed in the first place. Subscribe to join the journey. When